So I wrote this video expecting it to come out about the time of the Rio 2016 Olympics, but because I have absolutely no work ethics and release videos on a bi-yearly basis, that never happened, and now here I am, left with a script I spent hours writing and gameplay footage I spent hours recording with nothing to show for it. So fuck it. You're all getting a video on a game based on the Olympics from over a decade ago, because that's exactly what you all subscribed for. 2004. It was a magical year. Ratchet & Clank 3 was released, Green Day started being terrible for a few years, and Bill Murray ruined my love for Garfield. But 2004 was no doubt recorded as the greatest year in all of history, despite the massive loss of life caused by earthquakes and tsunamis on the coast of Southeast Asia and the aforementioned natural disaster that was the Garfield movie. And it was all because of Athens 2004. A video game, ladies and gentlemen. A simple video game designed to capture the adrenaline of running the 100-meter sprint, the elegance of gymnastics, the thrill of other Olympic event. Now I know what you're thinking. Why am I playing a game based on the Olympics, let alone one that's 12 years old? Truthfully, I don't even fucking know at this point. I've only made 17 reviews at this point and I'm already out of ideas. I don't have any prior attachment to this game. I can't rave on about how messed up my childhood was because of this game, and it's not at all relevant, so... When we start up the game, we're greeted with... Oh man, music must have been really interesting in the bygone era of 12 years ago. Yeah, so it turns out the copy I have is pretty scratched, which is fantastic news for my ears. So, there are two possibilities as to how these terrifying mascot characters came to be. They were either drawn by a 4-year-old with no eyesight, or someone on DeviantArt who has a foot fetish and also maybe likes unpeeled bananas. Can we go back to the black screen? No, never mind. You can choose from arcade and competition modes from the main menu. I chose arcade, as you can very clearly see here, and then you choose what country you're from. Unfortunately, you can't make your own athletes, you'll just be given an avatar who very loosely represents their country. I don't know what any of these options are because I don't speak Greek, so I'm just gonna go individual. And finally, you pick your event. I thought I'd start with long jump, so I could relive the many horrific memories of not being very good at it at our school's athletics carnival. Remember those? When your school would gather at the local sporting grounds and pretend it was the Olympics? Or when Stacy called you a fatty fat because you came second last in your age race ahead of the scrawny little blonde kid with asthma? Fuck sports. And fuck you, Stacy. Anyway, let's do the long jump. Oh. I'm sorry, did I pick Australia or Starbucks? Low-fat frappuccino, my man, on the double. Don't mind the gunners either, they're totally chic. And that haircut, my word. The barber's like, what do you want? And this guy's like, you know helicopters, right? And the barber's like, say no more, fam.
Mr. Australian man, please perform the long jump now instead of clapping your hands like a half-dead seal. Thank you.
Right, enough screwing around. Let's do this then. What do I do? What do I do? Actually, what do I do? The game just throws you into the event expecting you to already know how to play. I know tutorials are annoying, but sheesh. What you actually have to do is mash circle and X and press L1 to time your jump. Oh. It's one of those games, isn't it?
Just wonder if the pressure,
Hey, that wasn't so bad.
Pressure's too much. Oh, but that's a big jump!
Alright, I beat the world record. Second try and I beat the world record. Did you hear the glitching, man? I am perfection.
Well, that is absolute perfection.
Now let's give high jump a go. Another event I could not do as a child that this game is insistent on rubbing in my face. Haha, I did it! I hit the pole!
At this level, that's simply not good enough.
Is that not what the event is about, apparently? Okay. Now it's time to throw stuff. I must admit, I am pretty good at throwing stuff. Well, my character looks a bit closer to the Australian physique, at least, right down to the repetitive robot-like arm motions.
No, got that completely wrong.
I know, but her head is so tiny, though. Did someone bring their kid? What the fuck is this? The throwing events are pretty terrible. I can't tell if it's just me or the devs really did screw these events up somehow. Take this for example. When playing the javelin event, the instructions read, power down the runway with X and circle. When the indicator appears, set your throwing angle with the left analog stick. Okay, but how? In what way do I use the left stick to set my angle? Do I spin it? Tilt it? Which way do I tilt in relation to the angle that I want to throw it at? How am I expected to play this game, which is essentially a bunch of glorified QuickTime events, if you don't tell me what to do properly? I mean, am I alone on this? Am I just a giant moron? Well, hopefully the 100-meter breaststroke will be a little easier to understand. It's not. It's really not. It uses the same mash X and circle to fast that other events use, but you also gotta mash L1 when you want to breathe. You know why these games fail? Because there's little to no feedback between the game and the player. You feel like you're doing everything right, yet you lose every time. I get that these games are best suited for playing against other people rather than the CPU, but still, some sort of indication or feedback explaining what I might be doing wrong and how I can better myself would be really good. You don't need that sort of thing in every game, but in games like this that have so many varying control types, giving the player a little bit of a hand should at least be an option. Honestly, I never bothered with swimming again. It hurt my fingers, and honestly, water terrifies me. This giant liquid that covers 70% of the Earth's mass and is home to some of the most horrifying creatures on this planet, some of which are likely yet to be discovered and probably have more teeth than Adam Sandler has horrendously unfunny movies, but I digress. Let's move on to floor exercises. Oh, it's DDR. It's fucking DDR. The arrows are literally the same as DDR. There's just one major difference between the two here, and that is DDR actually has music. Good music. Oh, I hope you get a good score, Dal. You deserve it. Hey, that's pretty good. Oh, good on you, Dal. You probably would have gotten a better score if it weren't for that flat chest of yours, though. Wait, what? The one positive I can give is that there's a pretty good variety of events on offer, from swimming to gymnastics to good old track and field. But it doesn't feel like there's much variety between them because most of them rarely evolve beyond mashing buttons or rotating the analog sticks. You kind of feel like you're being thrown in the deep end. Which I guess is kind of nice. I mean, tutorials are the bane of humans' existence, but still, it's not very satisfying. There's no build-up. Going on a random tangent here, but when I originally wrote this script, I'd been playing WWE 2K16, which is completely random as I have no affinity with WWE, but the game is actually a lot of fun when it works. The reversals and submission mechanics are much improved, and I love the creator suite. I've always wanted to do a match between myself and Squidward, but it has a career mode in which your character goes through the ranks, starting in NXT and working their way up to the big time. I think maybe that could have been a cool approach to Athens by offering a character creation suite and allowing your character to train and grow as they prepared for the Olympics. Maybe I'm reading too deep into this, but Athens could have done some sort of career mode instead of just pick events and get frustrated. I probably am reading too much into this. You know what? I've been too hard on you, Athens 2004, for the Sony PlayStation 2 system released in 2004, which was 14 years ago. I've got to give credit where it's due. You do have really good music.
Smacks the shoulders down, 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 smacks the shoulders down.
Archery was pretty fun. I mean, as fun as this game can be, to be honest. The cursor's all over the place, plus you need to account for wind, so getting a bullseye turns out to be pretty satisfying. Though I love the mood swings from the announcer.
10, 2.
You're making it too easy, I'm not even going there. Finally, I gave the 1500 meter run a try. This is a very different event as you don't even need to mash buttons. Rather, the right stick controls your speed and you essentially have to manage your energy levels while also calling upon your second wind at the right time with the L1 button. Now, of course, because Australians are massive racists, I picked a Kenyan man for the event. And you can't call me out on being racist because I already did. Holy crap, I can't believe it! I'm gonna win! All my life I've dreamed of having a thin yellow piece of metal hung around my neck for being able to run 1.5 kilometers, and my dream is finally about to become no, stop it this instant, come back here, you sexy tattooed man of ambiguous descent! It's okay, second comes right after for what the fuck? You have denied me my gold medal. The time for your death has come. I shall call upon my ancestors and use my voodoo magic to... Yeah, no, this review's over. Don't play this. Play Mario and Sonic instead. Oh, I'm going to jail.
Together we can show the world what we can do.
You ever have that moment where you make something and then someone comes along and does it better and you just want to retreat to the mountains never to be heard of again until a passing hiker discovers your decaying snow-covered corpse hanging from a tree? Well, that's kind of how B-Mask makes me feel. A little bigger than some of the channels I talk about here, B-Mask talks a lot about 3D platformers and does an excellent job critiquing them while breaking them up with some light and unobtrusive humor. His Crash Insane Trilogy video is literally perfect, and his A Hat in Time video was also particularly interesting, even if I don't agree with everything he said. But I don't have to, that's not the point. His videos got me thinking about a lot of interesting stuff. Critiquing games without shitting all over them like a mindless baboon. Go check him out, links in the description. Hang on, I'm getting a note from my director. What? What do you mean Shammy already gave him a shout out and this is ultimately pointless? I don't give a heck, this is my show and I do what I want. Get out of here, Kyle, I'm done with your shit.